Welcome to our video discussing two new features in Forecast Pro, the ability to assign statuses and item level comments. Let's dive into this new feature. Whenever working in a team environment, it is important to get feedback from all members of the team. Different departments have different insights into your data, and you want to incorporate that business intelligence into the forecasting process as much as possible. However, when you are working in this collaborative environment, you might not necessarily be working face-to-face with each individual user. As such, you'll be passing data back and forth to each other. To help with this and make it not a black box, we want to pass along, in addition to just any changes, also our notes as well as our justification for why we were making these changes, and which items have actually been reviewed. To help with this, we have introduced these two new features of comments and statuses. With our comments, this allows each individual user to explain and justify why they made these changes. And these can be passed from one user to the next to assist in our collaborative environment. In addition, we also want to make sure that we are checking off whether folks have viewed particular items, whether they have made a comment to a particular item, or whether they've adjusted it to reach a final consensus. And so we want to make sure that we can track those changes as well. Let's take a look at these new features in Forecast Pro. Previously, the only place that we could make a comment was with the override grid, but this tied the comment to a particular date and it would move through time. Now what we have added is our new comments feature down below in addition to our hot list. Here we can go ahead and hit manage, and now we can actually enter comments that are now stored directly on the node in the hierarchy. So I could come in here and say, item has growth potential. I can go ahead and click on this and add it. You'll see that this keeps track of me as the user when I've made this change, as well as marking on the hierarchy with a little arrow here indicating that there is a comment available. I can make more than one comment. I can come in here and say, talked with sales about this item. And go ahead and add that, and now I have multiple comments. This will keep track of our users, and we can have discussions about it. I also have the ability to come in and edit a previously made comment, but still may want to review more. And go ahead and adjust and update my comment as well. In addition, here on the Reports tab, we have added a new comment report. You can see that this report will show me all of the comments that have been made, when they were made, who made them, and the comment itself. As with all of our reports, this is navigable, so if I double click on an individual item or down here into a customer, it will take me there and I can see my comments. And if I wanted to, I could add an additional comment here as well. In addition to the comment report itself, we can also add the comments to any of our other global reports. For example, here on our item report, if I go to settings, I now have the ability to turn comments into these reports, whether it's just a simple yes, no, or listing the most recent comment that was available. So if I just do a yes, no, and say okay, you can see that my comments field is now here, and I can filter to find any item that has a comment or not. The other new feature that we have added is a status. The status will keep track of items that you have viewed, reviewed, or specifically assigned a status to. The default behavior of the status is to show it as viewed or unviewed. So you can see here in my item report, these first 3 SKUs I have looked at, but these others I have not. However, if I were to go and click on them in the hierarchy itself, you'll see as I click on individual items, their status is changed from not viewed to viewed automatically for me. Now I can also customize the status beyond just the viewed and unviewed and assign it a custom status, whether it says in progress, reviewed for this period, or reviewed permanently. For example, if I go ahead and say in progress, you can see its status changes to in progress. In our global options, we can actually set these statuses and create new ones if we want to. For example, I could go ahead and add a status and call it inactive. And you will see this will create a new custom status. We also can determine whether it's permanent or not. What this means is this status will stay fixed to this item as I move through time. If it is not permanent, these statuses will revert back to not viewed by default at the beginning of each forecasting period. In this option, we can also see how many items were assigned these particular statuses, which can help us in determining which ones are being used or not. As you can see, this is a very useful function in a collaborative environment to find out which items have been viewed, reviewed, or had their statuses specifically defined. These new features allow you to share your internal knowledge better, to explain your decisions with colleagues when working in a collaborative environment, so hopefully you will build a much better and more reliable collaborative process. To learn more about all of the training options that are available to you, please visit our website at forecastpro.com.